from the Lakeside Newsroom of the Henrico Citizen, your hometown news source since 2001. This is the Henrico News Minute with publisher Tom Lapis.
Details about when weapons and metal detection devices will be tested at several Henrico schools, and a warning from TSA officials if you're traveling from Richmond International Airport. We'll tell you about it in today's Henrico News Minute. It is Monday, February 13th, 2023, and it's brought to you today by the law firm of Barnes & Deal.
And now for the news.
Initial field tests of metal detection and weapons detection devices will occur at 3 Henrico County high schools and 2 middle schools. That's according to Henrico Schools officials who told the school board of those plans last Thursday. Officials are planning to test traditional metal detectors at the high schools, Godwin, Hermitage, and Verina, during an initial phase, and then less intrusive weapons detection scanners at the as-yet unnamed middle schools during a second phase. After that, they'll figure out whether additional phases and test sites, potentially at elementary schools, are necessary. Now, both of the initial 2 phases will be completed before spring break, which begins after classes March 31st. Officials then will report back to the school board in April with their findings. Each of the 3 high schools will test the metal detectors for 5 total days, according to Superintendent Amy Cashwell, but those may not be 5 consecutive days. School system officials also will conduct focus groups and survey stakeholders from each of the participating schools to gain additional input. Now, the field test process is meant to help officials determine whether any type of detection devices should be implemented system-wide. The use of any type of detection devices would become just another tool being used in the school system to ensure safety, according to Chief of Operations Lenny Pritchard, who said there are already 16 existing measures in place, things like crisis response teams, systems of emergency response protocol and training, and a rapid notification system in the event of an emergency. The school system is also spending $5 million to implement a series of recommendations made last fall by a blue ribbon safety panel that includes the addition of card readers on exterior doors at semi-campus style schools and additional walkie-talkies for staff members, among many others. Now, you can read much more about this topic right now at henricocitizen.com. Some changes are likely to the 2023-24 Henrico Schools calendar. School board members on Thursday heard a proposal that would add 2 new wellness days, 1 professional learning day and student holiday, and 1 additional winter break day. Officials also identified a potential day off that could be added to the calendar if there are enough banked instructional hours resulting from a lack of inclement weather days. Now, if ultimately approved by the board at a later date, the new wellness days would be added November 6th and February 19th. In each case, that would create a 4-day break for students, since schools already were scheduled to be closed on each of the following days. Winter break would begin a day earlier on Friday, December 22nd. That would lead to one of the lengthiest winter breaks, 17 days, in Henrico in recent memory, or possibly ever. Officials proposed that a new professional learning day be added on Friday, October 13th, but at least 3 school board members asked officials to consider moving that day to Monday, October 9th, which is a state and federal holiday for Columbus Day. Transportation Security Administration officials are warning travelers who use Richmond International Airport that failure to check their bags for weapons could land them in a lot of legal trouble. They're concerned after nearly 70 people have been caught with weapons at the airport security checkpoint since 2021, including a record 24 last year alone. Perhaps most concerning, almost all of the guns, 92%, were loaded. 2 guns have been caught at the airport so far this year, including one on Thursday morning, which was the same day that officials held a press briefing about the issue there. In that case, a Chester man claimed that the bag he was carrying, containing a .22 caliber gun loaded with 5 bullets, was not his, but rather was his father's, as was the gun. You can visit henricocitizen.com to learn more about how you should travel if you are bringing a gun with you. And a tough one last night for Highland Springs High School graduate Kevon Wallace, who plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, of course, dropped a 38-35 Super Bowl decision to the Kansas City Chiefs. Wallace was attempting the trifecta of championships, having already won a state title at Highland Springs and a national championship in college at Clemson. Today's Henrico News Minute has been brought to you by Barnes & Deal. Barnes & Deal has emerged as a highly respected family law firm over the past 3 decades with the resources, skills, and experience necessary to handle high-asset divorces and other complex family law matters across Virginia. To learn more, visit barnesfamilylaw.com, that's BARNES, or call 796-1000.